is there a place that you would recommend that they start just for themselves to learn about it, or, to get their students started on it?
Yeah, I would highly recommend them check out. I mentioned him earlier, Mike Rohde. Mike Rohde, his Sketchnoter's Handbook. It's fantastic. It's easy. It's a short book. It's very visual, but he breaks down exactly what you were saying, like chunking and putting some kind of structure to that. Eventually, you'll get there. I think the first hurdle is just drawing and putting something on paper other than just your words. But he has a great book. I mean, that's kind of the book everybody goes to. And he's still around doing talks and doing speaking, but his Sketchnoting Handbook really breaks down visuals. It then helps you, okay, now how do I structure that? And it gives you some options. And it's up to you, it's up to the teacher, it's up to each individual student. What's my better structure? For me, my structure is just kind of chunking stuff and throwing it on the page. And if I got to connect it, I'll just use a line. It's a lot of spatial reasoning, and sometimes that can be very intimidating when you have a blank page. So yeah, I would highly recommend his book, his work. The other one is for great videos would be Verbal to Visual. It is a YouTube channel. The guy's name is escaping me because I always think verbal to visual, but he breaks it down as well. And he's got a camera above him and he's got his hand and he's drawing things and he's showing you examples and structure. Those are probably my two go-to. Once those guys, obviously I came across Mike Rohde first, and then eventually Doug Nielsen, I think is his name, Doug something, from Verbal to Visual. It's like, okay, cool. This is kind of reinforcing what I'm already doing. It's helping me and giving me a place to send teachers, because I'm not necessarily creating videos. It's just hard. You got to have the time to do it, and but those two guys definitely would be incredible resources. And neither one are educators, but yet speak to educators. So yeah.
Okay, I found both of them just Googling them right now. So
Yeah,
they're going to be bookmarked and on my list of things to check out here too.
And Mike already has a podcast. So what I like about his podcast is he talks to everybody. It's not educators. It is people out in other industries and how it's being used there, which really helps with how is this useful? Well, when kids leave school, they're gonna be in other industries, and it is being used there in other industries. So cool podcast as well. I think it's Sketchnote Army is his podcast.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't realize too that you've probably seen sketchnoting, because like I know that I've seen videos of complex topics or even school topics where on YouTube there has been videos of sketchnoting, and it just kind of the video is moving through the process. And so I think people are probably more familiar than they even realize with it, because you've probably seen a video or two that resembles the same thing.
For sure. And it can easily be kind of a double-edged sword when it comes to sketchnoting, which I definitely try. Part of my talks or my workshops are just kind of easing the anxiety around drawing, because when you do Google sketchnoting and you just go to an image search, there's very beautiful artwork. I would consider artwork as an illustrator, like that is very beautifully done. And for some teachers, they're like, I can't do that. I'm not an artist. I'm not. So I try to say it doesn't have to look like that. Oftentimes those are created, even the ones that I created are for the purposes of it's going to go on social media, or somebody has paid you to do that, to create a piece of artwork. And I can show some examples. It doesn't look like that in the classroom necessarily. It can be very much simplified version of that. And so I love it, but if you're not careful with it, it could easily like, no, I don't want to do that. If you don't want to dig any further, it can definitely be intimidating.
Technology.